Right, so if you find that you've turned your Wii on, gone into Homebrew, and the gone into say the USB loader GX or the master one, got a game, and this ends up happening to you. You get a black screen. I'll show you a quick fix. Alright, so you're on your Wii menu. I've got USB loader GX there. Of course, the way to put it there is actually to put it in your WAD file in your SD card. And of course, if you've got this far where you've got the Homebrew, you'll know what I'm talking about with the WAD file. And you can get USB loader GX and then actually go into either Pimp My Wii or the actually I'll show you. And of course, I'm gathering you've already put d2x d2x2 on here. Of course, multi-mod manager, it's a brilliant one. So if you've got WADs and that you need installing, they're on SD card. Just quickly flick into there. Actually, I'll quickly show you. Why not? Right. Okay. A lot of people will try and tell you that your Wii Motion Plus controllers and that won't work. Initially, I've never found that problem myself. And yeah, I mean, I'm using Motion. You'll see here, Motion Plus. I do it all the time. I mean, what can actually happen though is, of course, your Wii Motion Plus will actually deactivate from the Wii occasionally once you've changed some settings. But all you got to do is go to Wii in your batteries. There's a red button. You hold that down and then press the red button that's on your Wii and hold that to reinitialize your remote. If that doesn't work, take the batteries out and then put them back in. Try it again, and you should be able to reactivate your remote with it again. So that's normally once you change a few other settings. That's a bit wobbly, isn't it? Right, so there's your WAD manager anyway. So as I say, if you've got WADs, you can also, some of the old games, like GBA games and things like that, you can put as a WAD, get them downloaded as a WAD file as well. And you go into WAD manager, and you'll see here Nintendo or USB loader GX. And then as you can see by the bottom, press you press A to proceed, or you can mark for a patch install. And yeah, or do all WADs and follow, press 1. So if you haven't installed any of your WADs and you've got plenty of room on there, just, yeah, you may as well press 1, install all of them. Initially, I had a huge list here. You will notice some people advise as well, like there's a few download places. If you're having problems with your iOS, it's not working, you can download patches, put them in your WAD file here, and this is where you'd install them from. Initially, I have done it before with certain ones. It doesn't always fix the problem. It's the only problem, the only thing I've found with it. So anyway, we'll get back out of here. Of course, you've seen the app manager and all that there too. But of course, that's what you'd go into to install your WADs on your front page. And there's d2x. So of course, if you haven't got it, get that. That is something you need to do. Initially, I won't go through that in this video. So I mean, if you find that you haven't actually put that in, have a look around on YouTube. There's a few people that are actually showing you how to install d2x. But what I'll actually do, I'll tell you the right settings. The iOS's. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of different options out there. I mean, what one do you go for? Once you're installing you're doing it through the d2x. I mean, what iOS's are you changing? I mean, there's recommendations for, you make your version 10, 52, and then you'd be going 56 for your base, 249 for your iOS, and then the revision would be 65535. Yeah, actually I can go into that without changing anything anyway. Let's go into here for a minute. I'll show you. While we're here, let's just do an all-rounder video on it, Alright. I won't actually change my system settings, but I'll just show you a couple bits here. Alright, that's all normal. So the current version is 58. iOS 58. Alright, pressing the button to continue. Now, of course, up here, you'll see there, the top, select your CIOS. Of course, what you'll be doing is actually going over to 52, and then and then this one here. Normally you'll get that one, you're meant to be 56, and the next one will be 249, and the next one you change the revision to 65535. Press A. I'm not going to do it because I've already put a different system on here. And then after that's actually done its thing, what you do is the next lot of numbers, you can use 57. Still V10 at the top, but for your base you could use 57 and then put the CIOS slot. You can make that one at 250 and the revision 65535, and then once you've pressed A and then A again, you'll see what happens anyway. It'll come up, it'll just do it, and then once it's finished, of course you press an A, it comes back to the screen again, and then you can put in same V10 at the top, better 52, then you put in a base 58, and then you put that at 251 and then 65535. Okay, so but to make it confusing for you, there are other options out there. I've heard of a few different ones. Different people with just everybody's got a different a different take on it, I suppose, on what they've done. And now what else have we got here? So there is another option. Of course, with your V10, your better 52 and all that we just went over. I have seen another option where it's the V10 53 alt, and then base 56, IOS 249, and then revision is 21010. And then the next block after you press A and A again would be V10 better, and that's the 52. Use base 57. You're using the IOS slot there. You want that one to be 250. And then you're using the revision 65535. Then you'll be pressing A. You'll press A again once it's finished, or to start, and you'll say A again to come back to the screen. You know what I'm talking about once you do it. And then of course your next one you want is the same, better 52, and you're using base 58, and then the slot's going to be 251, and then the revision's going to be 65535. So of course, as you can see already, you've got two different options there. Well, how do you know which one's the best one to go? Well, I'll tell you now, it depends on the games too. And that's why we also have downloads for download patches that you can put in. Be careful with that. You don't want to patch everything. You can muck up your Wii. I mean, if you get patches and you patch every single system, your Wii's not going to load. It'll crash on you. Well, it has happened to me numerous times anyway. So it's, and you can, brick your Wii if you do it wrong. But anyway, so they're all asked. Now you're probably wondering, what is all this stuff? What does it all mean? Well, where are we? Okay. Right. So of course, you're changing the slots, and you'll see when it comes into the next screen, there's all the blocks. Those blocks are actually what's in your Wii, and of course the blocks where you can put in different IOSs on them. It's just a way of putting out the ones we want in it. Of course, certain ones play different games. You'll see when you're actually using the Wii Manager on your laptop. If you put in game, you've got your game titles actually loaded into it. If you go right to the right hand side of the page, you actually see what IOS that game runs on. And the reason that could be handy is for the case where with the, as I say, sometimes like these settings are great. One of them works better, for certain games and not others. Like for instance, you might get one and it automatically loads for like Call of Duty and things. But then you'll do the other one I told you and it might not load them, and you've got to change settings. But we'll get into that. I'll show you that as well. So, but anyway, so you're thinking, right, well, which one do I put in? Well, I can tell you now, I've tried a heap. So initially, you got another option too. You should have a, but I mean, this is for the Hermes. You got Hermes and one Eco, or one, oh, there we go. See, this is the one Eco one. But you got a Hermes one as well, and that's normally installed on a base 37, and then you're doing it at 223 IOS. and then you've got base 38, and you're doing 222 IOS, and then you're doing base 57, 224 IOS. So of course, and you should put the like you can put 224 or 222 Hermes on 249 IOS as well. It gets a bit confusing, doesn't it? I mean, you think, how, what am I going to do? And of course, as I say, there's measures. Look on YouTube, there's a few people who show different backups you can do. So that way, if you brick your Wii, there is a way you can get back in with the boot me programs and things like that. Sometimes you can brick your Wii that badly that you can't get back in. So, I mean, if you don't feel confident in doing this, yeah, I mean, you want to have a bit of confidence there because, yeah, you don't want to muck it up. But as I say, if you do those settings I told you, all of those different types of settings work. But I'll let you know which one I've actually found the best for loading multiple games. Like, because we've got different games came out different years, so they're using, but yeah, won't get into that. So anyway, your next best system to use would actually be with the V10 Beta, use 52, and then go to base, use 57, put it on CIOS 249, and do the revision at 65535. Then your next one, what you'd want to be doing is the same thing, Beta 52. You want base 38 and put that on CIOS 251. And then you've got the other one, which will be same thing, V10 Beta 52, base 56 and CIOS 250, and the revision 65535. And of course, you're pressing A and then A again. As I say, you'll see what I mean. And it even tells you here, if you look at the bottom of that menu there, as I say, I'm not going to do it because I've already done things here, and I don't want to be, changing anything. So anyway, we'll go back out of here. So that's basically revisions. As I say, the one I've just told you then is the best one. Actually, to make it simple, I should actually tell you them in order properly, shouldn't I? So of course, your V10 beta is 52, base 57, CIOS 249. Your next one, base 56, you're still V10 beta 52 at the top. Then your base 56, CIOS 250. And then your next one will be V10 beta 52, base 38, and then CIOS 251. And the revision 65535 for all of them. Now that one there I've actually found pretty good as well. And earlier on I told you about the one that had the revision with the 2010101 or something on it, 21010 version. That one there actually works quite well on multiple ones as well. But the one I've just told you now, that's probably the best one that I have found out of a lot of them. In the way of getting, the multitude of games. Your Call of Duties will load, most of them without any glitches, any problems. You don't have to stuff around with any other settings. Your Resort, Wii Sports, Wii Fit, all of that stuff. Actually, Wii Fit, sorry, you've got to change the loader IOS on that one. Was it the, it might have been Fit to NTC, I'll show you that in a second. Let's just do that now. Right, so once you've done all of that, put the right system IOS in there. You'll be exiting out of here. You'll be going back to your homebrew menu. And of course, Nintendo, you want that for your GameCube games. I won't show you how to do all this, the folders for games on the computer or anything in this video. I may do one in the future. I'm sure there's probably someone around that's showing people how to do it. But right, so we're going to USB Loader GX. And right. And I'll show you the settings that I've got this set on. As I say, I found this one to be the best one to be using. Another thing too, you'll see here I've got this in a fan sort of thing. Initially, when you first load up, you're actually going to see this screen. Okay, still a good one. You still get to see everything. It's just there's a lot going on and pretty small. But so you want it a bit enlarged, you put it in the fan. But what will happen is you'll go to the fan picture, and these will actually come up blank. So what you'd want to be doing is pressing, is it plus? No, it must be number 1. Yeah. So press number 1 on a cover, and of course you'd be wanting to put your Wii on the internet, and then of course do a cover download your covers. Okay, we're getting out of here. I've already done it, so I don't need to do it. Right. So you can have some games that will still not work, but as I said, that iOS last one I told you is the best one to go for. In the way of a lot of the different games. I mean, I found on the other iOSs you'd have glitches with, say, Wii Resort, Wii Fit, all the all of the Call of Duties. You know, there was a range of different things you had problems with, but let's just get down to it to show you. Right at the moment, what have we got here? So as it is overkill. So this is actually loading into a black screen. If I press start, it'll go straight to a black screen. So there's a few things you can do. You'll see here video mode. You can change that. Give it a go at NTSC or system default or just default. Yeah, just default there. I don't worry about the power so much, but yeah, force NTSC. You could try it at that. In the 480p, but anyway, I'm just going to do system default. Another thing you can change is aspect ratio, and sometimes that can fix it too. But anyway, we're actually going to change the game iOS. Like you'll see here, I should change that. If you're wanting the one that's already programmed, like in the main settings, you'd actually go -1 and then press OK and save, and that goes on your main settings. But I do know that this isn't loading on main settings, and all my mains on 249. We'll just try 249. So what we're actually going to do, we are going to go back to that, and we are going to just change the there it goes, system default. I'll try that one. Right, so go back at the menu. Of course, we had a black screen just before, so you'd be going back into your settings. But as I say, what you end up doing, you'll see here what I've changed now. So this was use global, and that was system default. I'll put that on this default, and of course, I changed the aspect ratio. But what I'll do, I'll just show you anyway without the aspect ratio. We'll see what happens. And the CIOS is actually the -1, which is the one, whatever we've had load up. So this is what I advise doing first before actually going in here and changing that IOS to 250 or 251. I would actually try these other ideas here first before you do that. That way you're not changing the loading IOS system and things like that. And this is an easier thing to do anyway. So as I say, all you got to do is go up to the video mode, change it to disk default. Try system default first, like we did before. Didn't work, so now try disk default. So we'll go save. Okay, go back, and then we'll go start. And there you go. So that's a way of just being able to, well, any games that are coming out of a black screen, it's just go through those settings first. Of course, sometimes it won't actually work on that one we just done. Just default. I mean, it works on like the majority of them, but occasionally you will have to select the NTSC one. I have even found the odd game for some weird reason. I've had to change the aspect ratio to force that as well, 16.9 or whatever. I'll just show you that the game is loading. Alright, so there we go. Alright. So, not a problem. She's all up and going. Okay. to show you that it's going to load. What I'll do, I'll go into a couple of Call of Duties as well, just to see if we've got any issues with any of them. We shouldn't have though. As I said, that iOS that I said to use on d2x too, if you use that one, you're normally pretty good with all the games. Oh yeah, sweet, so away. Alright, so here, well, alright, I thought I'd just quickly show you too the settings, how I have it actually set. My one, actually in the USB loader settings itself down here. I'll just go through that quickly so that way you can just see exactly how it's all set up. And of course you can just pause it as you're going through. And nothing has changed. This is all pretty standard. Yeah, see, I mean, you feel, yeah, it's all pretty standard. That one never got changed. Loader settings, so-called system default, video aspect ratio system default, console default. Right. Okay, yeah, we see the ones right. You'll see the loader iOS and the games OS 241, 249. I actually have quick boot turned off. I mean, you can try to turn it on, see there's much difference. NAND saves off, NAND emulation full. And then your Nintendo settings as well. And of course I've got force widescreen on that for the bigger screen TVs. Sometimes too with Nintendo, when you're actually doing GameCube games, a lot of people get stuck on, where is it? Oh yeah, here. See, GameCube mode, you've got Nintendo, okay? So what you've also got to do is make sure that back here in custom paths, that it knows to find those your titles and everything. Where are we? Actually in Nintendo, you've got to tell it to go there. Yeah, here. Our main GameCube path. So USB 1. It's going to be hard to set up. Sometimes you can put USB 0. I mean, it is USB 0 on the port, but if it doesn't come up with your games when you're using the GameCube games, actually just set it to USB 1 and games. And of course, games is your, if you've set up your USB properly, that's what your GameCube games are in, that title. And of course, with the Nintendo loader path that I was talking about before, of course, you've got Nintendo on your SD card, so you want to make sure that you tell it that Nintendo is SD in your apps and Nintendo. There's the loader, the loader path for it. A lot of people don't actually do that. They'll just go to SD card and having issues. But with SD card apps, sometimes Auto does it, but sometimes it has problems. So I found the best way is to tell it exactly what to do. Go SD card apps and Nintendo is the. Yeah. So you shouldn't have any problems with that like that. Wait. Don't need anything that way for wheels. Yeah, no. And after home brewing, don't update either on your actual normal Wii setting. Alright. Where are we? I'll show you that one. It's a hard drive. Sometimes here this flicks off and on too. If it's, sometimes it's not set properly. If it hasn't shown your games, just check in here. Make sure that's showing your actual USB. If it's not, flick it till it does. You want multiple partitions on. USB port is 0. Like I say, if you are having troubles with it, you can try USB port 1. Put it like that. But I found these settings are pretty pretty good to go off these ones. Game directory, split each game if it's bigger than 4 GB. Install property in all partitions. Right, there we go. Yep, back. Right, now here, funny enough, why is that off? Force titles from disk, you want that on as well. Titles from game TDB, I normally have that on, so I don't know why it's turned off all of a sudden. But yeah, anyway, so we should go back. Game should load. Boom. Alright, what other one have we got? Call of Duty, that one will work. Let's see if this one works. Yeah, and I'll just show you something to go into game mode. So you'll see here, I haven't changed any of the settings in here. But make sure they sort of match up with yours. And I mean, if this game doesn't load, as I say, what you want to do is come into here, change video mode, go system default, save, try it again, didn't work, reload, try it again, change that to disk default. If it doesn't work again, go to NTSC. If that doesn't work, what you'd want to do is go back here at system default or disk default, and actually just go down to your aspect ratio here, change that to 16.9 to force. You know, it might be 4.3 letterbox picture that it's trying to do. So yeah, you could go to system defaults, or as I say, mix it up, try it. They're your first options. Then with each one of them options after that, if none of them work, click one of them and then one of these ones. And once you've gone through that whole list, and then after that, you know, you go, right, come back in, change the aspect ratio to 4.3 or whatever. And then next load up, you'll go force NTSC at 16.9. See if it works. If it doesn't, come back in here, change it to system default, try again, doesn't work, change it to force forward, you know. Oh, and also go back to your use global, the original what we've got this set to. So you shouldn't have any problems initially. If none of those options work for you, the only option you've got then is, right, turn it all back to use global, and then go down here and go to game IOS. And what you want to do is change that, and you'll actually be changing it to, so you go clear, and like the game, as we've seen on the main list, it's loading with 249. So if this doesn't work with 249, you'll be wanting to go 250, and then go OK, then go save, then it'll go OK, then you'll go back, give it a go. If that doesn't work, come back in again, clear this, and then come in and go 251. Give it another go. Sometimes, I don't know why, but even though in the main settings you're saying it's using 249, I've had the odd one that won't, the odd backup that just won't load on it. But yet, yeah, and that's when it's set to the Z -1, which is what your main setting would be. The main setting's 249, but some weird reason I have had the occasional one where I've cleared this and I've actually typed 249 or whatever, you know, and it's actually worked, even though at the moment that's, yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that, but you could just, you know, give a couple of things a go there. You can't muck it up too much, but that's how you're going to fix any game loading, you know, most of the games that give you a black screen or a loading error that just won't keep loading. So it's not too bad. As I said, the main thing is you do the one at the top first, and I mean, how simple is that? You got a black screen or loading problem, just come straight in here and go bang. System default, try again. Come back again, just default, try again. But anyway, we're just going to use global because we're going to check this one. Let's just go back. We won't save any of that. Right, boom. And we'll see if this is going to freeze or go. Oh, look at that. Look how quick that load time was. Bam. Oh, this is going to be the telltale sign here. Wow, brilliant. Yeah. Alright, all good. So she's on action. Actually, just to make sure. But yeah, normally, I mean, if you're going to have any loading issues, it actually happens back on that other loading one we've seen with the 3 dots coming up next, like it is right now. That was that previous one with the 3 dots. So normally where you'll have loading areas where it freezes. So there's your Call of Duties working on the Wii. It's a good idea. At least we're not having to bloody, put in your discs, take them out, put on a disc and getting them scratched all the time. And perfectly, it's a good idea doing this too if the backing up all your discs onto USB and running it through here. Just if you've got children, got family, kids are getting the discs in and out, fingerprints all over them. It's just going to save them all getting from damaged, and you still can keep the original disc. But yeah, right. Well, that's about all for helping us for that today. So I hope all that information has actually helped us out. See you next time.